Hello and welcome everyone to a new tier list of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Horn of the Abyss, where in this one we're going to be going over every single Overlord. Now let me give you a brief overview of the Overlord class in general. They are a really super powerful class, one of the best Might Heroes in the game. Even when you don't need a Might Hero, they might actually make a good mate for you as well, just because of the sheer quality of skills that they end up going for. They have pretty desirable primary stats. They roll into a lot of offense stats, of course, as Might class. And they also have really good starting abilities, at least most of them, not all of them. So first off, in the Overlord list, we have the Arlak. The Arlak is a pretty decent hero. He's better in poor maps like HDM1. If you get him over in 611-10-8, then this ballista can actually solo black towers and stuff like that. In Jubas type mass, he's actually not really the main preferred choice, but as an Overlord, he's actually still okay enough to make it into A tier. He is somewhat decent. I mean, every Overlord is gonna be like really high unless they have a specific reason not to be. And Arlak doesn't have like a specific reason to be like super good, but you know, he's not that bad. The ballista can actually do things. Next up is we have the Dace. He is a Minotaur specialist who has tactics and offense at the very beginning of the game. He is immediately capable of doing many great fights for you, such as the Black Towers, Dwellings, and Ranged Gods, and so on. And he's actually like a really good guy to main as well if you're using any melee army, or even range army, doesn't really matter. Offense is good almost always. So, with this in mind, the Dace... Dace ranks pretty highly in the tier list. I would say he's actually low S tier. Low S tier because his specialty isn't really top tier. You know, the Minotaurs, you know, you don't really use the Minotaur power stack that often. So, and yeah, sometimes tactics is also not the preferred skill. You might want something that will get you across the map faster, or something that'll let you tank more. So yeah, tactics is only better later into the game in my opinion. So despite it being a tier 1 skill, I still don't think it's actually like the best to go for immediately. While we're talking about Dace, we can also talk about Shakti. Shakti is literally just a Dace, however he has a few differences. The main difference is their specialty. Shakti has the Trogdike specialty, which is actually far more usable than Dace's Minotaur specialty, since, you know, the Shaktis are going to be your early power stack, the Trogdike are going to be doing a lot for you in the map, and them being that 1 speed faster is going to make everything a lot smoother in terms of your gameplay. And also he of course brings free stacks or Trogdike into the game immediately upon being born as well. With that, the starting army in the Shakti and also the specialty puts him a little bit over Dace. So there he goes. Next up is we have the Damacon, the actual most turbo hero in the game. Okay, so Damacon falls into the same pit hole as Kraghack and Tazar does sometimes as well, where his level 3 is going to be a choice between 2 new skills, most usually. And because of that, he can actually roll pretty badly, but if you can get across that speed bump, he actually is one of the best heroes in the game. The 350 gold is like a nice little bonus, not really that usable, but you know, kind of whatever. He starts off with advanced offense right into the game, so he can take fights like no other hero. Well, I mean, of course, except for Krag and some others. Still, he's really good early game, he has a good mid game, and as an Overlord, he rolls really good skills. As a hero, this guy is one of the best in the games. So, because of that, he gets high S tier. I usually prefer this guy over the Dace and the Shakti, because he usually rolls logistics on level 3 or armor on level 3, making them far more usable in the early game rather than the tactics units. Tactics, I think, in the early game at least, fits more as a side hero. Next up is we have the Gunner. Now, the Gunner has like a long big legacy to him, okay? He used to be the literal, uncontested best hero in the game, okay? Nobody came close because logistics was absolute king. And he was the best class logistics specialist. Nobody came close. It was a blowout. You see Gunner, you're just, you know, the opponent just has to do it. Like, it's that easy. But, you know, as we grew as players, we became more skilled, more tempo heavy, and also the logistics nerf came about. And because of this, Gunner actually fell out of favor so much that people would actually main Dace, or even like a ranger like Ivor over Gunner, even in the highest tier of gameplay. And because of this, I would actually put him only high A tier. In Shadow of Death, he would still be S tier easily, but in the modern days of Horn the Abyss, in most templates at least, I would say he is high A tier, not S tier. There's probably some that you will disagree with, but you know, this is my call, by the way. So there we go. I still like him, but he just needs too much investment to pay off of. Yeah, let me talk about him a little bit more. Basically, the reason why he fell out of favor and the reason why he is actually worse because of the increase in tempo is because you want your good heroes, your main heroes, to be fighting hard fights for you immediately. Someone like Damacon on level 2 is going to be having expert offense. That expert offense can immediately be used to take a big hive, take a 2-2 cons, or something like that. Something that will enable your kingdom, your other heroes, to be able to farm the map autonomously. Meanwhile, Gunner does not do that. He doesn't give your kingdom investment, he takes investment, and he only returns that investment like way late into the game. Way too late to actually make good use out of him in most situations. So that's why he fell out of favor. So next up is we have Lorelei, the scouting leadership overlord. One of the most unique overlords, since that's not really the kind of skill set that you usually have for the Lorelei. She also is a Harpy specialist and brings 3 Harpy stacks immediately into the game with her. She actually was really good in the last patch of HotA, like a year before, because you used to be able to abuse experimental shops in a way that you would get infinite damage, and then you can actually get giants for free immediately into the game. It used to be really broken, and it was patched, and now it's like way better. This also means that Lorelei has no more selling points and she sucks. Yeah, as a hero, she starts off with pretty mediocre skills. They're kind of okay. They're not like bottom tier, but not really the likes that you would like to see on your main in the early game. Because of that, I would say she falls almost into B tier, but as an overlord without any bad skills, I would still say it is A tier. And next up is we have the or Agit for sure. So this guy is the eyeball specialist, the beholder specialist. He starts off with interference and leadership right off into the game. And these kind of skills ends up paying off later into the game, not the early game. And as I said, that is a big no for most of the templates that you would play in Heroes of Might and Magic 3. You want to be taking those house fights early to get you going, and Agit doesn't really provide in that kind of way for you. And he doesn't, he also starts off with 2 eyeball stacks, but that's not really that good. Harpies are decent, you kind of want them anyway. So yeah, this guy doesn't have much of a role in the game. And because of that, I would say, like, maybe A tier, but I would try to say high B tier. There he goes. Next up is we have Sinka. Sinka, much like Agit, I mean, yeah, she's very similar to Agit, but is actually worse. She is a scholar that starts off without a spellbook. She's a Manticore specialist, but then again, Manticores suck anyway, and you would rather use any other hero for the Manticores anyway. She has leadership, which makes her decent in taking side fights, but yeah, like a scholar is an unacceptably bad skill for your might hero, especially if you want to main her. As a side hero, she can do things, but then again, being barely passing as a side hero will not warrant you a good spot on the list. So she is C tier, almost, well, actually at the complete bottom of the overlords. Next up is we have Emitter. Emitter is a campaign-only hero, and she's a dragon specialist. She gives 5 attack and 5 defense to any dragon in her army. She starts off with the game with estates, which you kind of need to buy dragons, I guess, maybe in campaign, and tactics, which dragons don't really use because they fly over the entire screen immediately. So her skill set actually doesn't really make sense. It's pretty bad. You don't really want to main her unless you're playing the campaign, then you kind of have to. But then again, we're more like rating online play. And usually on light play, you will not see her unless you're playing like specifically kind of memey templates, like the one that MKC has, the likes of that MKC has. And in that case, she's good fun. She's an Overlord, you can use her, but she's not really that good. She is not as terrible as Sinka, but she is still B tier, no more. And next up is the Meteor Drake. It's literally the same hero, except with a different portrait, when she becomes a Drake. And of course, a Drake is way more awesome than some lowly human. So she goes straight in the higher B tier. There we go. So, that's my list of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 for Overlords. And now, I will summon the Tribunal to discuss this with me. Did they have any sort of disagreements? Yeah, guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Ame?
Couple of things. Why is our shit not an F tier? I don't understand.
He's the Overlord that has actually 2 usable skills. And these skills are actually even really high tier in the late game. So if you were to invest in them, you would probably get out a pretty good hero, no?
Yeah, but you have to be a complete madman to invest in him. He's like, his 2 skills that he starts with do absolutely nothing for you until he's level 15 or level 20. And until, with the investment that's required to put into him, you're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, he does require like a really big investment. I would say leadership does do something for you in the early game, but yes, interference doesn't do anything in the early game for you and is only going to be his late game. He's the kind of hero that you would invest into if you have like nothing else to invest in. But Agit would be something where, you're not like dead in the late game.
But yeah, just how much is he better than Sinka though, Lexi?
That's what I was thinking.
Than Sinka? This is a scholar without a book! She's a joke!
Does Agit have a book?
No, but she's not a scholar.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but she's not a scholar.
Can do a purpose. She can give your main slow. Agit gives you nothing.
Agit gives you hope for the late game. He's a good hero.
Agit gives you shit.
Agit costs you 2,500 gold just to get rid of him so you can delete him.
Okay, you guys really dislike the 0, huh?
Just please put him in D tier.
No, I'm not changing this rating. You guys disagree with anything else?
For some reason.
Gunner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like for you to elaborate why is Gunner exactly... Like, I know you spoke about him for quite a bit, but... I just want to point out, like, Gunner is really good on any town you play, while Shakti is only... Like, obviously he's good at any town you play as well, but he's not better than Gunner.
Oh, he is literally better than Gunner. He's gonna be taking fights for you that Gunner otherwise will not be able to take. And he's gonna be propelling your kingdom into new heights. Ones that Gunner will not be able to reach anymore after his logs nerf.
But the thing
What
is,
if you're not playing JC?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Gunner becomes a little bit better than he would otherwise be, but still probably not as good as Shakti in my opinion.
And just a quick question, how many JC maps is there and how many other maps is there? Just,
Okay, well listen, H3DM1 would probably have Gunner be more main than Shakti, however the other... No, actually 610A would have Gunner over Shakti. However, many mirror templates that end up being played often actually do not even have Gunner as an option. So either Gunner is usually not an option in the template, or you want to not main Gunner because of the template that you play.
Okay,
But
being an Overlord myself, just one moment, Pharrell. I would like for you to pay the respect to Gunner for what he once was and put him in the S tier, even if he's the last one. Thank you.
I'm not putting his memorial into the S tier. He's a
Lexi,
dead hero. He's dead. Get over it, Tommy.
Lexi, I'm your father.
He's dead.
Okay,
I'm done, children. Yeah, but don't you think in the fact that firstly Gunner is banned in mirror templates should show you that they consider him too overpowered to actually be in those templates?
Logistics specialties end up being broken. Dessa's banned there too, despite Dessa not being represented well whatsoever.
Okay, that's my one point on the toilet. But the second thing is, in non-PvP matches, surely Gunner would be the best because of longer templates and logistics just gets out of hand. So overall, factoring in everything, shouldn't he be bumped up a level?
Maybe from your perspective, as more of a solo player than I would ever be, that could be the case. However, from my perspective, as a multiplayer, a competitive high-level player, he is A tier.
Lexi, this is Mighty Gorgons all over again. Please put him in the S tier.
Mighty Gorgons belong where I put them.
Oh
Lexi.
god, don't do this again. Yeah.
He's hopeless. No one can save him. Lexi will always be stuck in the 200 rating.
No,
But
what do you mean? I'm 700.
I'm sorry, what's your current win-loss streak?
Win streak? I'm at a streak of like 6 losses in a row, but yet I'm still like 600 rating. Do you know how high you have to beat to be able to lose that many and still be so high?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but you lost, didn't you?
I won the last FFA that I played.
But did you win the 1v1 that you played?
It was close against an 800 player dude. It's literally one of the best players in the world, and
So
it was
are you
close.
saying you lost? Are you saying you lost?
I am.
And what about the game before that?
I lost horribly.
And the game before that?
I got smashed, beaten,
And the game before that?
owned. Absolutely no chances.
Runner S tier. Thank you. It's closed.
Listen, B tier or A tier, you choose.
Oh god.
S. Okay.
Yeah. There is one more hero I want to argue on this list, and I don't
Yeah.
even have the logical fact to back it up, but it's Dace. Every single time you see that hero, he's always absolutely godlike. I don't know what it is about that hero, but
I'll
he
tell you
always
what it
knows
is. I'll tell you what it is,
perfectly.
Farrell.
He owns.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is. He's an overlord. Praise overlords.
But I mean, it's like it's perfect skills every time. I've probably seen him like 20 times, and every time he's been ridiculous. So just by that fact, I want him ahead of Shakti.
But Shakti is good and Dace is not.
Shakti's amazing,
Yeah.
but Dace
Oh,
is not.
yes.
But I like this.
Yes, but look at Shakti's face and look at Dace's face. You use that same logic for your Drakes. So
What do you mean?
Oh,
Shakti has
that's true, that is
beautiful
true.
scales. Do you see how individually these scales are really, really beautiful? And they combine into this magnificent creature. Meanwhile, Dace basically has more horn than face. Like horn to face ratio is like all over the place.
okay, I got nothing to say to that.
Me too. This is
I
just
gotta let
hopeless.
you and take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know what,
thanks.
Lexi? You win.
Thank you, Tribunal, for their input. It was Feral Rage Awesome and Ame of H3.
All right,
And
bye.
yeah, see you guys around. Check me out on Twitch. I stream almost every single day. And till the next one. Ciao, ciao.